Today at approximately 1:30 p.m., Harris County Dispatch was notified of a crash that occurred here in the 19,000 block of the North Freeway. When deputies arrived, first of all, C4 arrived here on scene and they discovered a unknown major minor where a black female was displaying a weapon sitting in the middle of moving traffic. It appeared that her vehicle struck the back of an 18-wheeler. At that point, a standoff ensued, and Harris County SWAT was activated and we deployed to the scene. What we know primarily is that this is a 64-year-old black female who has history of mental illness. She's been transported to the hospital for help. I'm happy to know that no one was injured. There was no force used to take her in custody. None of our deputies were injured, but I am greatly appreciative of the community for their patience and this traffic nightmare that occurred. We had to shut down the freeway in both directions. Thank the public so much for your patience, and thank you all for spreading the word, asking the public to stay out of the area while we conduct business. I'll take any questions at this time.
What goes into the decision about how long the freeway is going to stay shut down? I mean, a lot of people were stuck for a lot of hours today.
The question is, what goes in that decision? So there is no decision to make. Life is the utmost important. There's no price to put on life. If we'd had to stay here multiple hours, we would have to save this person's life. The good thing is someone's mother, grandmother is coming home tonight. But maybe not tonight, after she gets some help, but they're not injured, they're not dead. We didn't have to use force to take her into custody. So she's able to get the help she needs, and that's a win. That's a win for everybody. I also like to thank Precinct 4 for their efforts out here. They initially secured the scene till we got here to relieve them, and we couldn't have done it without them. So thank them as well.
So can you tell me what the hostage negotiators told her that finally they surrendered about?
So we started out with our crisis negotiation team. They just built a rapport, communicated with her, listened to her. She listened to us. They collaborated, and at some point, she felt we found something that she was willing to grasp onto to stay alive, and that was the most important thing that occurred here today. We saved her life. She lived another day to get help.
Did she mention why she did that? Was she
As stated earlier, she has some mental illnesses that she's dealing with, so there's no rationality as far as what's taking place. Maybe there's meds, but there is history of some psychosis with her, so that's to be determined. I don't want to speculate.
I know it's a delicate situation, but will any
There is the issue of the crash that initially occurred. Everything else would be up to the investigators that take on the report. Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that crash?
So both vehicles was traveling southbound on the North Freeway. It appears that she intentionally hit the 18-wheeler, from what I was told, but that's still under investigation.
And she was armed the whole time? Was she waving the guy around? What was happening?
Yeah, she had what appeared to be a .38 revolver in her right hand. She persistently kept it to her face, her throat, her head, therefore making it very difficult for us to approach her and take the gun away. So it was a very delicate situation throughout the whole ordeal. And I commend our CIT negotiators to bring this to a very successful conclusion.
It appeared she was talking and maybe smiling during some of the conversations that she was having. Like, was she responding and actually?
She was very much engaging in conversations. She would sometimes say she's going to surrender and then not. So she was in and out of sorts, and that's normal for someone that's in a mental crisis. Yes, from what I'm told, the crash was intentional. Therefore, we may have to deal with that as far as some citations or something. But the other driver was not injured at all. So the measures we took to negotiate with her is to provide shields for our negotiators to where they wouldn't be injured, because she would not use a phone. So they have to be a face-to-face negotiation, which is our last resort that we want to use. And we have to stop traffic going both ways, because a stray bullet could very well hit a passerby or you all that was standing here observing the situation.
Was it her daughter who came to do some of the negotiating as well?
Yeah, we use what we call a third-party intermediary negotiator. We allowed her to speak to her daughter to let her know her daughter was safe. That was something that kept her here with us from doing something foolish. So once she realized our daughter was here, she was safe, she was going to be allowed to see her again, it got better at that point.
At the end, we saw her get up and she actually hugged the law enforcement officer. I mean, what does that ending mean to y'all, and did she say anything?
That's a great experience, because that tells me that negotiator and her formed a bond. He was very sincere with her, and she poured out her heart to him, and it saved her life today. So that was very positive, and maybe she can grow from that. Thank you all. Appreciate your patience.